Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Keep On Creating. I'm Mike, and today we're going to be doing some more creative stuff, obviously. But first of all, I just want to say thanks for all the really cool messages that I've been getting. I really do appreciate it. The wishing wells and all sorts of stuff that's been coming through. I have actually set up a new Instagram account, so I'll leave the link below. If you want to send me some more messages, go to the Instagram account and send me some more messages. I love seeing what you guys are up to and the projects that we've been working on. It's really cool. So what's been happening? Well, we didn't get the lightning bolt over there, but we made our own sign, which you saw in the new intro that I just made. That took like forever to make that intro, but it came out so really cool. Actually had to 3D print that, which is something I think we're going to actually do on this channel soon. I just like fell in love with 3D printing lately, and it's just awesome. It's really cool. So that's something we're going to be probably exploring further on down the line when I kind of get my head around it. Maybe I'll show the journey of let's just say hair pulling out to actually make it happen. But it's all good, it's all fun. Then, as I mentioned, we got that new Instagram account. I'm not so much on Facebook anymore, a little bit there, but not kind of there. We got the new website. I'll leave the link below, go check that out. And with all of that said, today we're going to be, I'm just looking for my note, there it is there. So today what we're going to be doing, we are going to be doing this design over here. So without further ado, because this is going to be a long one, I figured, well, I got a lot of comments going, please slow down, but it's kind of like really hard for me to slow down, so I really try to slow myself down. That's why this video is going to be pretty long. But the design we're going to be creating is this guy over here, not that little goat over there, that full design over there. So without speaking too much gibble gabble, let's get into it. Okay, so we've got our Illustrator open here. Now the first thing we've got to do obviously is just get a new document open, so a new artboard. So all I'm going to do is heading up here where it says Illustrator, go off to the side where it says File. Let's click on that and you'll see it says New over here. Now, important thing to notice in Illustrator, which I've probably said before a million times, is you get these little just like abbreviations over here. These are your quick keys. These are what you really need to learn. So it just makes setting up and just getting everything together a lot quicker. So File, New, we're just going to click on this one over here where it's marked in blue. And up pops this window where it gives us all these dimensions that we can use. So off to the side over here, you can see it's actually saved my last details. So I'm just going to name this, kind of looks like a button logo. So I'm just going to call this button. Keep on creating design. Okay, so I've just named the file name there. The width of this is going to be 500, so just double select that. I'm going to say 500. You can see mine set in millimeters, and I've set the height to 500. The orientation doesn't really matter because this is a square. And CMYK is fine for now. Raster effects, just leave all of those as is. It doesn't really matter if you've got RGB or CMYK for what we're doing right now. And we're just going to click on this button over here to actually create our document. So I'm going to click on that, and up pops our artboard. So you can see this big square here. That's our 500 by 500. Okay, so let's just save this file. So I'm just going to go Command S, or up here to your file menu. See right up here, just drop down to save. I'm going to click on that. And up pops where we want to save it. Let's just save it on the desktop. You can see it says set as Illustrator. Got my file name up here, all pre-populated from when I named the file in the beginning, and I'm just going to go save. So 2020, that's absolutely fine for now. And I'm just going to click OK. Okay, so we're all set, almost. First thing I always like to do, whether I use them or not, is switch on my rulers. So I can go Command R, or I think it's Control R on Windows, and you can see it pops up all these rulers over here. I'm just going to quickly switch those off. I'm going to go up to View, and I'm going to drop down and find where this is to show you guys. I actually know my quick keys better than I know where all these shortcuts are. Guides, no, not guides, rulers. There we go. So it says rulers, and it says show rulers, and there's Command R, and I'm sure it'll say Control R on Windows. So if we just click on that, we're going to get our dimensions up here. Okay, so looking at our design, we have got lots of circles to draw on this thing. I am counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, And then all the text, 8, 9. Got about 9 circles to draw on this. So let's start somewhere in the middle of the page over here. I'm going to get my ellipse tool. So I'm just going to go over here where this rectangle tool is. Okay, you could just push L. Okay, or you can click on this, hold it down, and go across down here where it says ellipse tool. You see there's the L, that's doing your quick key. So you just release on there. And now if I go somewhere to the middle of my page, you can actually see it's telling me where the center is because I've got my snap to point switched on. And I'll explain that in a second, just while I got this. If I click here and I start dragging, you can see it's dragging from that point where I'm dragging from. You can see it's dragging out, and you can see it's not quite dragging in a circle, it's dragging whichever way I want to drag it. But if I hold shift, it snaps to a circle. If I hold alt, it drags from that center point. So you can actually see if I had to drag from over here, I can, while holding shift and alt, it's going to create that circle still from where I basically started it from. So I'm just going to go undo this. I'm just going to go Command Z, and let's just start again. Right, so there's my center point. Click, hold alt, hold shift, and just keep on dragging. And now you see I've got that nice circle going from there. Okay, now if you don't have this little center point showing up, just go up here to view and just go snap to point and make sure that is turned on, as well as these smart guides over here. Okay, because smart guides, basically if I hover over, you can see how it basically highlights that path. If I turn smart guides off, it no longer hides everything. It gives you that funny like square little icon right there, near enough to it, but that's when it actually comes over the entire object. Okay, so just keep those smart guides turned on, view, and make sure those are turned on. So it's got the little tick symbol there and that little tick symbol there. Okay, so just for backup, so I know that when we're drawing this logo that we've got a backup of this circle right here, I'm just going to simply go Command C, or I'm going to go edit, and I'm going to go over here where it says copy. Now you can see there's Command C, that's my quick key. Now I'm going to head over to my layers palette, and you can see right here just opposite where my stroke is, it's going to say layers. If you can't see your layers, you're going to go to window, and you're going to drop all the way down here where it says layers, and you can find all your windows. If you can't find any of the windows that I've got on my screen, you will see them here. I'll call out what everything is like. So I say there's the swatches, you'll find there's swatches. Okay, so you'll know exactly where it is. Okay, so with my layer selected, I want to put this onto a new layer and just basically keep it in, should we say, cold storage for later. So I am going to go over here, which is create new layer, this little one with a little plus in it. I'm going to click on that, and you can see it gives me a new layer over here. Now what I'm going to do is actually just hide this first layer. Okay, so you can see it actually, circle's gone. Now because I've got this layer 2 selected, I'm just going to go Command F, and you can see it's pasted my circle exactly where the other one is. So if I actually switch on this layer over here, you can't see it because it's directly behind it, but it's there for safekeeping later if we need to come back. Right, so I said we needed about 9 circles in here. Let's start from the center. So basically what I want to do is I'm going to go to this corner over here. I've got my pointer tool selected over here, my selection tool selected over here. Now make sure it's this one over here, this full black one over here. And I'm going to click on this edge over here, drag inwards while holding Alt and Shift. Okay, and let's just drag it all the way in over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go copy this, so exactly the same what we did with our layers over here. I'm just going to go Command C. Okay, so I've made a copy of that layer, or you can just go copy over here, and I'm going to go Command F. Okay, and if you don't know what the Command F is, you can see it right here. It says paste in front. That's what I'm looking at there. Mine is showing as Command F. So now I'm going to drag that out slightly. Okay, holding my Shift and holding my Alt at the same time to keep that proportion nice and locked. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, just because I can't see exactly where my other one is going on underneath here, okay, I have a fill of white. So how do I tell that I've got a fill on white? You can see over here, if I've got my object selected with this selection tool, you can see it's showing this big white block over here. That's my fill, and that's my stroke. So I need to take this fill away. So you can either do it over here, it says none, you see the little none over there. I'm going to click on that, and now you can see both my circles. So likewise with this one over here, I don't want any fill in there. Let's just mix this up a little bit. I'm going to go over to my swatches palette, and you can see over there it's showing that same little none icon. and I'm going to click over there, and now neither of those circles or ellipses have any fill in them. So that's what we're looking for. Right, let's carry on going here. So I'm going to go Command C, Command F, exactly what we just did, and I'm going to drag that out again whilst holding Shift and Alt. I'm going to go Command C, Command F, do it again, Command C, Command F, and just do it again. So you can see I've got almost like a bullseye going on over here. I'm just zooming in. Now, that's another thing. If you want to zoom in, you simply just go spacebar, Command, or old school Apple, and then just click and drag off in and out. So you can go, basically I'm basically pushing my mouse all the way out, or I'm dragging it inwards towards that inside of that circle. Okay, or you can just go click, click, and hold, what am I holding? Alt, and just go click, 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 and it goes out again. Okay, so just to zoom in here so you can actually see all those things. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about there, all you need to go is over here, it says zoom tool. You bring that up, you can see that this is literally just your zoom tool. So if I hold Alt, I can now click and drag in and out, and that just makes it easier for you if you battle to understand what I've just done there. So let's get my pointer tool, my selection tool back up, and let's start figuring out what we're going to be doing here. So the first thing we've got to do is work out, now we're going to have this little logo in the center over here. We're going to have this full circle going around it over here is exactly what I want. Then we're going to be having this line over here with some text running down on this bottom section over here. Okay, so we're going to actually almost need to actually double up on those lines. So what we need to do first is, just so we make this more appeasing to the eye right now, I'm with my selection tool, I'm going to click and drag over all those lines. I'm going to go to my stroke, and I'm just going to give the stroke width a 2. Okay, so I'm just going to hit 2, and that just makes everything kind of uniform for us. Now the 2 lines that let's just focus on first, with this line here, I'm going to go copy, so Command C, or you're going to go up to edit and copy, and then I'm going to go Command F and just paste another one right on it, right there. I'm just going to make this one a tiny bit bigger. Okay, and with this one here, let's get some text running on this curve over here at this point. So let's get our text tool up, which is T, or you can just go over here and you can see it says type tool. I want you to click and hold on that. Go over, it says type on path tool. No, we've done this before. Just click anywhere on this line. I'm just going to click right here, and let's type in keep on creating. Okay, now you can see that it has typed in upside down. Obviously we want this to be number one. We need to sort out how it's centered. Let's go on up here where it says align center. I'm going to click on that, and you can see basically it's just really snapped right to where the center point is. So now what I want to do is I actually want to flip this baseline, because I want this basically to be reading down here, but the other way around. So I'm just going to undo that. So basically what we need to do, when I've got this selected and you've got this selected, you see this little red line I've got right here. Okay, yours, I don't know, yours may be blue, I'm not quite sure. But if you click on this and just drag that to the other side, you can see it goes to the inside of that circle. Now that's exactly what we want. Now an easy way to rotate this is I'm just going to go hit R, or you can go over here where it says rotate tool. Okay, so just click on that or click R. I'm going to hold down shift. Okay, so I'm holding shift and I'm just going to go rotate, and you can see where my cursor is going. It's dragging like off in a clockwise position, and I'm going to release it there, and you can see now we've perfectly just in the center of the other side, and that's what we are looking for there. Now what we need to do is select a font. So I think the font I'm going for this one is, it starts with the B, if we're going to keep on forgetting what it's called. Barley. There we go, Barley font. Okay, I'll leave a link to this font down below and you can check it out. So with the Barley font selected here, you can see it's in there. Let's just make this font a little bit bigger, so you can see it says Barley, regular, and 12. So we can literally just click in here. I'm just going to scroll up with my mouse roller, and you can see it's just a quick way to just scale that font right up. So how big do we want it? I have no clue. Let's just take it somewhere like there-ish, I suppose. Looks pretty good. We'll leave it there. Okay, so with that, now with this extra one I have created over here, this little circle I've got it going around here, I'm going to hold down Alt and Shift, and I'm just going to click and drag that in. Now, yep, it takes a little bit of time to get used to all this dragging and all that stuff, but just bear with it, keep on doing it, and you're going to get the hang of it. Okay, so dragging that in, you can see I've kind of put that like right through the center of my text there. Obviously, I don't want it overlapping, should I say, over the line over there, but we'll come back and sort that out a little bit later. So the next thing we've got to do is just make this ribbon effect. So I'm going to take this and I want that pretty close to my keep on creating bit there. Okay, so you can see all I've done there. So I've just held shift and I clicked and dragged it. I actually did it so naturally because I've been doing it so many times. I forgot to explain what I was doing. So I'm just click and drag that, holding that alt and holding that shift. And I'm just going to drag it in there, round about there somewhere. I think that's probably pretty cool, somewhere around there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go Command C to copy it, Command F to paste it exactly where it is. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to hold down Alt and Shift, click and drag it out. And this is basically going to dictate to how wide we want our ribbon effect. So I'm thinking somewhere around there. And size-wise, yeah. Size-wise, let's just see what the text we're going to put in there is. Now, since we've created this text over here already, I'm simply just going to copy that. Okay, so Command C, or you're going to just go Edit, Copy. Okay, click on that, and you're going to go Edit, Paste in front, or just that Command F. I'm going to hold down that Alt and Shift again. Okay, and I'm just going to click and drag it, and let's just make sure it's somewhere centered in there. You can see how all these circles are just all lining up. I'm not having to worry about it's off center or anything like that. If something does happen, we can always just quickly go back to our layer over here and just grab that one we saved ages ago. Okay, so don't worry about it too much. We've got a nice backup. So the text we want going in here, what are we going to say? Push yourself. So push yourself. And this way I'm not having to go back and try find the fonts again and put it in. It's already there, so we don't have to try and find any of that. So you can see from this, I'm just going to make this a tiny bit bigger. So I'm going to hold Shift and Alt, and I'm just going to drag it ever so slightly. You see it snapping there a little bit. Okay, that's cool. I wonder if I should make it smaller. I will make it smaller. So basically what I'm going to do in here, I'm just going to double select, I'm double clicking into here, blah, 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 blah. Double clicking in here, clicking and dragging off to the side. So you can see I just dragging my mouse just off to the side. So it selects this little part right in here. And I'm just going to bring that font size down because I don't want that gap to be so big. So we can just go up here. I'm just going to roll my mouse roller all the way down, or you can just click on that little down arrow there if you want, if you haven't got a mouse roller. And or you've got one of those fancy mouses, you know, those fancy Apple ones, which is just like a DJ. Anyway, so you do that, and now I've kind of got my position where I actually want to cut this circle of somewhere over here to make this ribbon effect. So I'm going to get, first of all, what I need to do is make this object here like kind of like one object. So I'm going to get my selection tool up by pushing V. Or I'm going to head on over here, and you can see a selection tool. I'm going to click on that one. So the first thing I want to do is just select this line over here. So the one just above the push yourself wording we just put in. Okay, I'm going to select on that. I want to make sure that that's right to the top. Okay, and when I mean right to the top, I'm just going to quickly make this red. Okay, so the infill is red, and I'm going to make this one here blue. Okay, now you can see the blue one is actually on top of the red one. So what I want to do is actually make sure that red one is on top of the blue one. So I'm going to select my blue layer in this instance. Okay, so I'm going to select on that one. Then I am going to, for a quickie, you could go Command Shift and the close square bracket. Okay, and you can see it sends it to the back. So if you don't know where that is, okay, I'm going to undo that. You're going to go head up to here to Object. You are going to go Arrange, and you're going to go Send Backward, or I'm going to go Send to Back. There's your Shift, Command, and that open square bracket. So you're going to click on that, and it sends it all the way to the back. Now the reason why I wanted to do that is because I basically want to punch this red one through that blue one. Does that make sense? I'm going to punch this red one through that blue one, and to do that we have to have both of them selected. So with your selection tool, which is this tool up here, you're going to select it. You're going to select your red one first, hold down the Shift to select multiple objects, and I'm going to select this blue one over here. So I've got the red and the blue selected. Now if you find your Pathfinder window, which is this guy over here, it says Pathfinder. Remember, if you can't find any of these windows, just head up to window and have a look for it, and there it is there, Pathfinder. Just click on that and this window will pop up. Now you got all these little functions in here. The one we are looking for is this minus front. Now every time when I do these, I always hold down my Alt key. Okay, that makes it permanent. I know some people, they just click on this, but they don't hold the Alt key, and that's when you run into problems. I've decided that I'm going to do this. I don't need to ungroup it or come back to it later. I'm just going to click on that, okay? And it gives me this choice here to expand. I'm going to click on that, and that basically makes that an object to itself. So you can see if I click that now, if I click on this black line over here, if I click on this inner black line over here, you can see the whole thing, every time I've clicked it, it all moves at once. So that's exactly what we want. We want this to be one object. Just so I can see what I'm working with here, I'm just going to send it to the back again. So that Command Shift and that close the open square bracket. Remember, it's just under here, object, arrange, and send to back. Okay, so there we go. So send to the back. That's so I can see where I'm going to be cutting this. Okay, right, like somewhere over here. So if I want to be cutting this somewhere over here, I'm going to get my pen tool up, which is this tool I've just selected here. I pushed P and this tool came up. You can see it's this tool right over here. It says pen tool. That's the one I'm going to select. So just make sure that's selected. I'm going to click this, click over here. Okay, just one click and just make it like almost like a, not quite 90 degrees, but somewhere around there. I'm just basically trying to follow the shape of that P. So that's cool, somewhere around there. Now I want this to be exactly the same on this side. So the easiest way to do that is to reflect it. Okay, so to reflect it, you push O, okay, on your keyboard, or you just go over here and you can see it says reflect tool. So yours may be showing this little rotate icon here. Click and hold on that and you'll see it says reflect tool. Okay, so you can see my reflect tools there. Now within this reflect tool, you can see there's this little blue thing right over there. Okay, that is the center of this line. I don't want it over there. I actually want it like up here in the center of our graphic. So I'm going to click on that and you can see there's that little blue thing. I'm going to drag it all the way here and it should snap somewhere in the center over there. Okay, so you can see it goes shoop, and it actually tells me that's the center, boy. So there it is in the center over there. So with that selected, I'm now going to hold Shift, click, and then just drag off to this, or to my right hand side. And you can see it's actually there, it's gone to my right hand side. Now I can instantly see, man, that is like really wrong, because that angle I'm not happy with there at all. So what I'm going to do is, with this direct selection tool selected, or A, I'm going to click on that and I'm just going to select this little top node up here. So you can actually see, if I click on this little node over here, I can manipulate that single node. If I click on this little node over here, I can select and drag that little node. So let's just click this. I'm going to click this bottom one and I'm just going to drag it out slightly just to make it a little bit better. Practically, I think we're going to end up making this like a 90 degrees. It's going to be better anyway. So somewhere around there, you can see that's much better. Forget what I said earlier with trying to make it like that text. Just do that. So with this selected again, we're going to reflect it back. Okay, we're going to do something a little bit different this time though. So I'm going to get my reflect tool. Okay, I'm going to push O or click on this little icon up here. Remember that blue little crosshair in the middle there? I'm going to click and drag, click and drag that up and put it in the center. Where is the center? Somewhere around here. Show yourself. There we go. Okay, so center is right there. This time what I'm going to do is actually hold Alt and Shift at the same time and then click and drag to my left hand side, okay, because I'm reflecting it back that way. And you can see what it's actually done. I'm going to release everything. Basically what it's done with holding the Alt and the Shift, I've created a duplicate of it. So I hadn't had to try to rotate it and do funny things or do a Command C, Command F. I've just basically taken that, made sure when I've rotated it, when I've reflected, I've clicked it and dragged it, put it in the center, point over here. Hold down Alt, hold on Shift, and clicked and drag it over to that side there, and I've duplicated it. That's cool. That's what I'm looking to do. So the next thing we're going to do is basically the same technique we use with the red circle and the blue circle. We need to put the red circle on top and punch it through that blue circle. So we need to make a layer on top of this blue to punch that object out. So what I need to do is just get our pen tool up, which is P, or you head on over here to your pen tool, which is this guy here. Let's click on that one. And if you just click on the end of one of these lines like this, so you can see it gives us this like diagonal little minus sign, which tells us we're going to be selecting that anchor point there, or activating that anchor point there. So if I click on that, I'm just going to draw, I can basically just draw straight across here to that line over there. Okay, and you can see it's joined those two lines together. I'm now going to go all the way to the outside of one of these nodes over here. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and I want to trace all the way around that line. So I'm just going to, you don't have to curve it, you can click straight like that. Okay, I'm just going to hold down spacebar. Okay, and you see it gives me that little hand, and I'm going to click and drag my screen just so I can move it around slightly. I'm just going to close that circle off so you can see it gets a little over there when I get to the anchor point to say close this sucker off. Okay, so now I've got the shape over here, and let's just make that red so we keep things consistent. So you can see the whole red thing, that red block funny graphic that we've made there, is sitting over our blue block over here. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, hold down my shift and then click on the blue object. Head on over here to my pathfinder and find this minus front. Okay, I'm going to hold down the alt, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click on expand. Now I have no idea why I've got a big black mark there. That was a little bit of a glitch, wasn't it? There we go, and it's gone again. If I just send that to the back quick, I wonder if it's affecting about this. Nope. Make it red. That's interesting. There's nothing going on over here. Nope, nothing going on over there. Okay, that's really interesting. Interesting to know on your guys' screens if it's done that, because I can't see anywhere why it would have done that, unless there's a line over here. Let me know in the comments below if you've had the same little glitch over there. It'd be interesting to find out. So basically what I want to do is, with this selected, I am literally just going to make that black, and I'm going to make this text white. So with my selection tool selected, this guy up here, which is this little selection tool, let's just select this, a font who says push yourself. Let's select that. Okay, heading over to our swatches and click on this little white icon here. I'm going to make that white. I'm going to select our ribbon there with this funny little defect over here, and I am going to make this black. Click on this little outline over here, and I'm going to select that off. Okay, I can't actually tell if that's still got that line in there. Just quickly just check for interest's sake. Nope, it's gone. That's weird. Very, very strange. Okay, let's zoom out slightly. So I'm going to go spacebar, command and alt, and I'm just going to go click once, just drag that down with that spacebar. Okay, so I can kind of see where I am in the whole grand scheme of things. Now we want to create the ribbon going towards the outside. So I'm going to select this little circle over here. I'm going to go command C, command F. Okay, so we should have that down now because we've repeated that quite a few times. And we've repeated this next move quite a few times. So I'm going to go alt, shift, click and drag it all the way in. And let's set it somewhere around about, let's set it somewhere around about there-ish. Okay, not really set in stone wherever you want to drag it. Just I would say keep in mind your distance that you've got over here. Not going to measure any of this. We just keep in mind that distance over there. So let's do that again. Command C, command F, and I'm going to click and drag holding alt and shift. And that little distance I was talking about, just try and get it more or less the same. So this distance here is almost the same as this distance there. Because technically what we're doing is saying that ribbon width is the same ribbon width as this ribbon width, and we're just going to make it sort of the same. Okay, let's make sure that this circle here, we're going to change it to blue. There we go, sitting on the top. We need to send that to the back. So we're going to go command shift and that open square bracket, make sure it goes all the way to the back, and just select this guy over here and make this red. Okay, so we've got that. Yep, we're going to punch that through again. So you can see a lot of this is quite repetitive, and we're doing the same thing, which is just make a great tutorial because it's repeat. And the more you do this stuff, the more you're going to get the hang of it. So the next thing you're going to do again is just going to go over here to this minus front, hold down that alt, click on that and click on expand. Just to see what we're doing, send it to the back. Okay, remember where that back is. If you can't find the alt shift and open square bracket, you're going to go up here to Object, Arrange, and Send to Back. So I'm going to click on that. Now you can see it's sent it to the back. So let's just make the little extra ribbon bit over here. Okay, so I figured we could do with just a little bit of like an intermission. And that intermission is sponsored by, well, me for putting this video together. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, please leave a comment below, a nice one or a constructive one at least. Thank you. I am, again, let's just use that pen tool. So I'm going to get the pen tool up by hitting P, or I'm going to go over here where it says pen tool and click on that. So let's make it so that I don't want to make them too long. So let's click here. You see how I've clicked outside this graphic that we've got? So I'm going to click outside of that. Let's come into here. I'm going to click and then go over here and then click. And I think that'll be quite cool. If you want to change your angle slightly on this, you can always get your absolute select tool or direct select tool, your direct selection tool, and you can just alter this however you want. I'm going to put it somewhere around a bit there. Whatever you guys feel yours is good with yours, just go ahead and pop that in there. What I want to do now is exactly the same as when we made these little cuts over here. I am going to get my selection tool up, so my basic selection tool, which is this one over here. I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to hit O to get my reflection tool. Remember, it's this tool over here, my reflect tool. I'm going to get that little point right over here. You can see it in there. I'm going to click that, drag it to the center. Okay, where's that center point? So it's the center. Hold down that Alt, hold down that Shift, click and drag off to my right. So I'm going to click that and drag that off to my right while holding all that Alt and Shift, let go. And you can see I've got them in the exact same position. Perfect. And let's just block out this one. Let's just knock out this one over here. So try to do this one by yourself. I'm just going to quickly go through it. It's exactly what we've basically been doing. So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. You're not going to have to do it by yourself. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay. So let's get our pen tool up, which is this guy over here. Click on that little node over there to activate it. Go all the way to this side. Close that little line up so you can see how they join. Go to the outside of this guy. Okay. Click on that. Again, just click all around the circle. Okay. All the way to there. Now remember how I'm moving my page around. I'm just holding that space bar down to get the little hand tool up. Hello. And just basically moving around the screen like so. Okay. Now technically again, this would be my red layer. And I'm going to punch through that black layer. So I'm going to click over here. Oh, wait, before we even do that. Oh, whoa. Before we end up with a big black block down here, let's create another. So I'm going to get my pen tool up, which is P, or you can head in up here and click on this little pen tool icon up here. Somewhere around here, I am going to click around about here, and I'm going to click in there. Okay. Now, if we want to do the whole reflecting thing again, we can just get our reflection tool, which is, I'm going to click on V and just click off that icon in there. So V being this the selection tool up here. I just want to deselect that quick and then reselect that tool. Now I'm going to get my reflection tool up, which is that O, or this little icon right here. It says reflect tool. That's what we're looking for. Get that little node in the middle there. Find our center. Now, since we're actually being so repetitive with this center tool, I think the best thing we should have actually done right in the beginning is probably is just draw these, select one of our circles, go up here to your guide, click and drag that down, drag it onto that little edge there. You can see how it's snapped and given us like that little white arrow. Do the exact same for this side. So you can see where I'm pointing it. I'm going to snap there. That's my center point right there. Instead of having me just struggle and try to find it all the time. Don't know why I didn't think of this before. Anyway, so let's start again. So I'm going to hit my P to get my pen tool. That's this little guy over here. Click, click, somewhere around there. Okay. Now I'm going to select it again and hit that O. Okay, get that reflection tool up. Get that little node right in the middle there. So click it and come on now. Now that I've got my center points, now it doesn't want to come. Center point and just drag it to that center point there. Okay. And now I'm going to hold that Alt and Shift, click and drag off to my left hand side and pop it over there. Okay. So now we've got that little line over here and little line over there. exactly repeating what we've done all over again. I'm just going to hit the pen tool. Okay. Click on this little node over here. I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, you can just make sure you go on the outside. So we want to make sure we don't touch any of that blue over there. We want to go outside that blue. Then on this side over here, I'm going to click on that little node there and make sure I go right away on the outside. So we make sure we're covering this whole inner bit of this blue over here. We make sure we're covering that bit. I'm just going to make that red. Okay. Now this one, I'm going to do a little bit of a double take at once. So I'm going to select both my reds. So I'm going to, with my selection tool, this guy up here, right, that one over there. I'm going to select this red one. I'm going to hold down shift and select this red one over here. Then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hold down the alt key. I'm going to click on that little icon and I'm going to go expand. Now that little icon was unite. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, so you can see that's still selected. I'm going to hold down shift and I'm going to click on this blue layer over here. So this is all the stuff we've done before. No panic. We're just going to go over here and I'm going to click on this minus while holding alt. Click on that. Click on expand. Simply just going to take off that key line over there quick. I'm going to make that nothing. And I'm going to make the click on in this one over here where it says fill, and I'm going to make that black. Okay. The best practice again, let's just send that to the back. Come on, shift, open square bracket. Poof, it's gone to the back. So it's not overlapping that little bit there. And that's pretty cool there. Now what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to make that font smaller because it's been driving me nuts for a little bit of time now. I'm just looking at it going, yeah, that needs to be smaller. Okay, so I've just gone into my font and just double clicked it. I'm just dragging my little roller down just to make it a little bit smaller. I just needed that bit more space in between there. So I'm just going to hold down alt and shift and just click and drag that in a little bit. That's better. It gives a little bit more room. I'm going to go Command T in actual fact. Now Command T brings up my character window. If you can't find that, window, and this one's a little bit hidden I think. If you actually go to type, and there it is over there, there's a character palette, so pull up that one. Okay, so what I want to do is I just want to space this out a little bit. I don't like how close the font is in that section. I didn't like basically how close it was to the edge of my ribbon. So that's why I just brought that font size in a little bit. But now we've obviously got a lot of space on the sides over here. To do that, we're going to go over here where it says we've got this VA. This is my tracking. Just go hover your mouse in there and just scroll your wheel up, or you can click that little up arrow right there. I'm just scrolling my wheel up, and that's cool. I'm just going to click over here again, what we did earlier. Make that little gap a little bit smaller, but enough to, yeah, that's much cooler. I'm much happier with that. Okay, so we've got your keep on creating and your push yourself. So what do we still got to do here? That's right, we need a massive font to go around this side over here. I'm going to select this little ellipse in here, the circle over here. I'm going to go Command C to copy it, Command F, hold down Alt and Shift, click and drag, and let's just take it somewhere, yeah, somewhere. Let's take it to that line there, somewhere around about there. Probably going to be changing this. Right, so let's go ahead and over here to our text tool, click on that, and let's get this type on path tool, this one right over here. Let's just click up here to get our font going, and let's type in here whatever you want to type. I'm going to write in here, do not fade, and you can't see a thing because it's actually typed all the way down here. I'm going to hit R, okay, to get this rotate tool up. It's going to hold down shift and just drag it up here, and you can see it's snapped into place up there. So obviously we're going to want this much bigger. So I'm going to double click on that, go up here to my font size, and I'm just going to rotate it. I got a little bit ambitious there. I'm just going to rotate this up a little bit. Let's just fix these sizes up here. Exactly what we've done before. I've just selected a little space in between here. I'm just going to fudge that size there by making it smaller. Okay, somewhere around there. I'm going to copy that. Okay, it's just Command C, and go Command F in this little section over here. So I've selected that little bit, copied it, selected this little bit by clicking here and just dragging off to the side and pasted it in there. Now you can see it's quite close to this line here, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to, with this font selected here, I'm going to hold down Alt and Shift and click and drag and bring that in a little bit, give it a little bit more room. Now what I do like about this Barley font is if I double select this and I go to this Barley font, does it pop up here? No. If I go and find where that Barley font is, so basically if your font character is not over here, it's going to be up here where it says character. So either or of those, they both do exactly the same. Now, Barley font has this age version, and I think it's got another version. I'm sure it's got vintage age. So where is it? B-A-R-L. There, Barley rough. Where have we gone? Barley rough, Barley aged. Okay, that's the one I want. So Barley aged. Almost got it rough there. So Barley aged. That's what I'm looking for. So we've got the barley aged, we've got this line here, we've got that line there. That's all starting to look pretty cool. I think I actually want this font quite big. So I'm going to drag that up again over here and make it quite nice and chunky. I'm going to have to reset all this. Just bring that font in. So just selecting there, bring it in, just rotating my little wheel down. You can see it says 31. Instead of having to do all that again, select that little area, copy it, paste it in here, boom. It's done. Let's make that smaller, and I'm going to bring that a little bit in. So that tracking, you see that tracking there that we're going in here. I'm just dragging that in a little bit. Do not fade. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so it's nice and chunky, and that's kind of what I'm going for there. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is another round of text. Now that next round of text we are going to be putting is basically, I'm just having a look at my drawing here, and we've got another round of text to go on the outside of this one. So I'm not even sure we're going to need this one on the outside of that one there. Okay, so if we're going to have another round of text going on the outside of this one, I'm thinking that what we should do, we want this to be black, we don't want this to be white text. I'm going to select on this keep on creating text over here. So Command C, Command F. Okay, so you're just going to go Command C, which is your copy, and then you're going to go paste in front. So that's all I've done. Now I'm going to go Alt and Shift, click and drag, and I'm going to take it to this line over here is the line we actually wanted to take it to. I'm going to take it somewhere around, let's take it somewhere around here-ish. Okay, let's just make this font a lot smaller, because I envisage this being like really smallish, somewhere around here, depending on how much text we've got. Let's type in our text quick. So just hit the letter T or go up to here where it says Type Tool. Click on that. Just make sure you got that all selected, all your text there. So I've had to click it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And you can see it goes 1 selects the font, 2 selects one little bit of the text, 3 times, and it selects everything. Okay. Let's type in do what they won't. I don't know, won't. Won't, does it have an apostrophe? Want. I think it does, so I'm going to put that in there. Won't. That makes more sense. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so we've got that in there. And at this point, I'm just going to click on this circle over here. So how I'm moving between these keys quite quickly, as I'm constantly pushing on V and the spacebar, and V and the spacebar. So V always brings up my pointer tool. That's probably the one you're going to have to learn the most of. So click on this outline here. I'm going to hit the backspace or delete button. Let's just get rid of that one for now. Okay, so I want this actually to be kind of small. Okay, so I'm going to hit Alt and Shift and drag that down. And I want that under there. Yeah, that's cool. Should we bring it in a bit? Should we bring it smaller? I think let's bring it in smaller. So there, I've just selected where my font is there with the character size over here. Just rotate my little wheel downwards. You can click on this little down arrow if you want. Somewhere around there, do what they want. I think that's cool. Okay, now let's just adjust the size over here. There's a little space in between. Obviously, depending on what font you've got, you may not have to do this. If you're happy with the spacing between these, I'm not. Again, I'm just going to select that little area over there. I'm going to go copy, select this area here, paste it, select this little area over here and paste it. So it's just dragging in those areas and pasting it in. It's going to bring that a little tighter in. That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so now what I want to do is what we need to do is basically I want to start cutting these up a little bit here. So I'm going to drag another line down. Now this is why I'm going to do this now, because I didn't want all these lines going everywhere. So I'm going to drag a line down to somewhere around about here. I'm going to select my circle over here. So I've got my pointer tools, my direct selection tool over here, the selection tool. I'm going to select this circle over here. Now I'm going to push the letter C. Okay, now C brings up this little icon over here, the scissors tool. If it's not showing, it may be showing under knife or something, or erase tool, but I'm looking for this scissors tool. Now where this line that we just drew intersects our circle, so that ruler line, I'm just going to click on it over there, and I'm going to click again over here. So what it's actually done, you can see it's only got this section of the line selected at the top over there, and that's the part we want to keep. Okay, so again, just going to push V to get my selection tool and select this bottom line over here and just delete that. Okay, just going to move this back into the center, kind of slip there. So all we've got is this line going there. We haven't got anything now going through that bottom line, which is what we didn't want. Okay, so I think what we need to do now is let's create something for the center bit here. Just before we go ahead and create something for that center bit, I think what I want to do is I'm just going to click on this inner circle, hold down Alt and Shift, and I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger. I'm then going to I'm still with my selection tool. I'm going to hold down Shift, select this line over here. Now it keeps on selecting that font. Let's just send that font all the way to the back. Okay, so Command Shift and this open square bracket, setting it to the back, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm going to do that again, select this one, select this one. Now I can select that one because this one has been sent all the way to the back. So the problem is it was interfering with my circle. And let's select this guy over here. So I've got my 3 circles selected. Go over to my stroke palette. On the stroke palette, I am going to type in, I think we had it on 2, so I'm going to really double that up. Make it even thicker at this point, yeah. Make it somewhere around there. So you can see I've gone all the way up to 6. Those little nodes there, I think we're going to change this a little bit later because I've got an idea for this. But for now, I'm going to just put rounded cap on, and it gives us this nice rounded look. Just going to turn my rulers off for a second so you can see how that's all sort of coming together. That's actually looking great. Oh man, that looks cool. Okay, so what I need to do next is we need to create a little thing in the middle here. Now the font I've been using, this Barley, is really cool, and I'm really liking it. So similar to a monogram we've created before, I've just dragged my page to the side slightly so we can just work on this little area over here. Now I'm going to hold down, well, to do that I've held down spacebar and I just dragged it off to the side. I want to get a font going over here, the same font style that we've been using. So I'm just going to get the letter T up, which is our type tool. Okay, so there, type tool, click on that, let's get your quick key. I'm going to click over here and I'm going to type the letter K and C. Okay, I'm going to select all of that. I don't want the rough or the aged version for this one. I want the clean version for this one. So there's the clean version. I'm going to click on that and hold down my command key and just click off it. Just hold down Shift and Command, and I'm going to click and drag, ultimate zoom in there, and we've got our font. Now at this point, this is actually a font, and you can see it's a font still. Of course it's a font because it's got this line underneath and this big box around it. Now I need to convert that to outlines because I no longer want that to be a font. I actually want that to be a graphic file. I know I've done this plenty of times in the other videos I've done. But to create an outline, I'm going to go Command, Shift, and O. Okay, so basically I've now taken that from a font and converted it into an outline. If you don't know what I've just said, Command, Shift, and O, all you need to do is go up to, I think it's Type, and let's find it. It says, where is it? Create outlines, over there. So create outlines, click on that, and you can see it's created these outlines for your font. Okay, so now what we want to do is I want to create that little bit of a like a monogram-y type overlapped K and C, but I don't want this to be all funky and small at one end. I want to keep these column widths over here, all those column widths, all the same widths and everything. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this. So I'm going to go Object and Ungroup. So you see it's Shift Command G. So Shift Command G, and now if I click and drag, I can drag those independently. Okay. Now with my direct selection tool, which is this guy over here, okay, I'm going to click anywhere from the inside or the outside. I'm going to click and drag. You can see where I'm dragging over that area there, and you'll see why in a second. All those little nodes pop up. Okay, I'm going to hold down Shift and Command. I'm just going to zoom right in here so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see if I just repeat that, I'm going to click and drag all those nodes there. Now I've selected all these little nodes here. You can see the ones that are very red, and these ones have got a slight little white in them. These ones here I've selected. So I'm going to select this little node over here, and I'm going to hold down Shift and click and drag that down. Okay, so you can see if I hold down shift, it drags it straight down. Okay, it's pinging a bit, but okay. So I'm going to drag it all the way down to about there. I'm going to repeat that for the exact same, the top one, so you can see all these little nodes around this area here. Those are the ones I want to select. So I'm going to click, drag, and you can see all of them are red. All of these have now deselected down here. I'm going to click and drag while holding shift all the way up, okay, up to about there. So I've just made the area a little bit narrow on those sides. And now what I want to do is if I click over here, drag this mega bit over here, so that whole top section of the C, okay, and I'm going to click and drag that all the way down like to there. Now you can see the reason why I've done that. I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. So I want this to basically overlap this section over here. Okay, so now what I want to do is keep that direct selection tool selected, click and drag all this area on this side of the C, and let's just make this like mega long. So we're going to make that like all the way out there. Okay, to make this easier so we can actually see what we're doing, let's just do the red blue thing again. So let's just make this red and let's make this blue. Nice blue. Where's the nice blue? The nice blue there. And let's just click so to select the C, I've just got my selection tool, click on that, and I'm just going to go right over our K somewhere over there. I think we may need to make it a little bit longer. Okay, so to make it longer, I'm just going to drag it a little bit more this way, get that direct selection tool, select all those little nodes on that side. I'm just going to click and drag, make it a little bit longer, hit V to get your selection tool up again, and let's just select that back there. That's cool, that's much better. Now put it somewhere in the center so you can see it's not quite centered. So I've only got a little piece sticking out of the bottom here, and I've got this massive piece sticking out of the top over there. So I'm going to hold down shift and click and drag that up a little bit to try and make it a little bit more even. Okay, so there we go, even Steven. Okay, so which parts are we going to go over and which parts are we going to go under? So let's get our square tool, rectangle tool up. So I'm going to push M, or you're going to go over here and make sure you've got a rectangle tool. So you see I've clicked on this little icon just below text, and make sure you've got this rectangle tool selected there. So what I want to do is I am going to click somewhere around about here, and I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to drag it to somewhere around about there-ish. Okay, so it's kind of like even at the top and even at the bottom, and that's kind of where I'm looking at. So the black is basically going to signify that is going to be where it's going to be punched out. If yours isn't showing up as black and it's showing up as red or blue, just click on the little swatch over here and it should change it to black. Okay, so with your black selected, your little black square, hold down Alt, okay, click and drag, and let's just put this somewhere around here-ish. Well, let's just pick a side, so somewhere around there, okay, and just make sure it's nice and evenish over the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to hold down, I'm going to hit A. Now exactly how you can select these nodes independently with your direct selection tool, you can actually select this path line over here. So if I actually click on that, hold down shift and just drag, you can see it actually drags it off to the side nice and proportionately there. Now what we're going to have to do with this is just make sure that your black square, or your what do you call it, the trapeze, is just covering this blue area, because obviously we want to punch that through. Okay, so with both our black objects selected, so I'm going to select this black object here, and I'm going to select this black object up here. I'm going to go over to my Pathfinder and hold down Alt. Remember, it's important to hold on that Alt and click on that Unite, and then click on Expand. Okay, then I'm going to hold down Shift, and we are going to punch through on the red. So I'm going to hold down shift while clicking on that red. So I've got both of those objects selected, with the black object and the red object. Find this minus, hold down Alt, click on that, and click on Expand. So now we've got that over, under, over, under. Now if you feel that this could go back a bit, we could always adjust it a little bit by getting the absolute select tool, the direct select tool. Click on that little node over there, click on that little node over there, hold down shift to keep that angle. Make it a little bit bigger. Likewise for this section here, just hold shift while dragging them. Hold shift while dragging them. Just make it a little bit more pronounced, because this is going to be pretty small. So yeah, that's cool. Okay, so let's just select all of these elements. You can just get your selection tool, select that one, or simply just drag marquee right over all of them and click on this little black there. Now it kind of does not do anything that I wanted to do. So basically what we need to do, we actually need to punch out this red section over here. So to do that, again, we need to just get a marquee tool up again, our rectangle tool. So that's this one over here, the M, click, drag. Okay, it's going to create like a bit of an angle there. Just going to make that black. Now we are going to want to do what we did down here. We're going to get our direct selection tool, click and drag, make sure the angle's sort of the same. Okay, somewhere around there. Going to bring this in, click on those little nodes there. I haven't changed my tool yet. It's still that direct selection tool. We did want the gap kind of big, didn't we? So just make that a little bit bigger, somewhere around there. That's cool. Okay, and we're going to do the same over here. So what do we want to do here? Yeah, so just make sure it's not actually touching this little bit there. You can see I'm just nicking that bit, so just drag it, cheat it a little bit and just drag it in a little bit there. Okay, in fact, let's not cheat, let's do this properly. So we're going to click on that there, click on that there, just drag it a little bit in so it just doesn't touch that blue mark there, keeping it at the same angle. Okay, and we're going to do the same for this section down here. Just get another marquee tool, rectangle tool up, click and drag. See, I'm a bit rusty at this, I'm a little bit rusty. And I'm gonna click and drag at that. Okay, so let's combine those two objects with our Pathfinder tool. So I'm gonna click on that, hold shift, click on that with my selection tool. So that little selection tool up there, selected those two, go to your Pathfinder, hold down Alt, click Unite, click Expand. Okay, now we're gonna punch it through that blue bit. So I'm gonna hold down Shift, select the black sections and the blue sections, and then hold down Alt and punch it through. Okay, so now we're talking. Now that's a lot better. So now if I select everything there like we did earlier, make the black, now it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, so the only thing that doesn't make sense is this little bit here. So I'm going to click on those little nodes, exactly what we did earlier. I'm just going to make that a little bit wider. Whew, I'm going like wonky. Best thing to do is I've got my pen tool. I'm going to select a little bit over here. See, it's giving me that little plus. Put that there, let's put it there, minus, and I've kept my line, and I've kept a nice straight line going over there. Now we've got the over, under, and that looks cool. Okay, so with that over, under little KC, we've got crossing over in the bit there. Just select everything there. Let's just make it one object, so when we move it, it just moves nicely. Hold down the Alt key, click on that Unite, click Expand. Just click and drag that, put it in the center over here somewhere. Hold down Alt and Shift, so we drag it out nice and proportionally, make it nice and big in there. And there's our little KC in the middle with do not fade and all that stuff on the outside. So that's starting to look really, really cool. Now, what I would like to do is just give a little bit more to these little elements over here. So with these lines selected, okay, all this line selected, I am going to go and get my brushes window up here. Now this is something really, really cool. If you click on your brushes window, and you basically click on this little icon here and you go open brush library. I'm going to go to, let's just drag this out to the side here so you can actually see. I'm going to click on here, go to open brush library, and I'm going to go to, let's go to paintbrush. I like the paintbrush one, it's quite a nice solid one. Okay, I'm just going to close that window. So you can see all these lines that we've got going in here. So if I've got all of my little strokes selected, I'm going to select on one of these lines, and you can see it because this is a really cool like paint effect. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Obviously, I'm not wanting it that thick. Okay, so I'm going to change my little stroke width here or over here, and I'm going to change this to, let's just start with 0.5. I think 0.5 is pretty much perfect. Okay, so that's that there. Now what I want to do is we've got that line going around there. I want to click on this. I just kind of want this bit over here to sing out a little bit more. I want this section over here to be down here. So I'm going to get my rotate tool up. Okay, it's set in the center over there. I'm just going to hold shift, and I'm going to actually release shift because I want it like around about there. I'm going to drop that there. And doesn't that lot just is really, really, really cool. I think actually I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm going to cut this. So I'm going to do what we did a little bit earlier. I'm going to get my scissors tool, which is this guy up here. I'm going to click over here, and I'm going to click over here. Okay, and I'm going to deselect by pushing that V and just clicking off my graphic. and then I'm going to click on that little bit there and delete that. And I think that looks cool. If you wanted to take this a little bit further, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. I'm going to take that, I'm going to copy it, I'm going to paste it. So Command F, so I've got another copy of it. I'm actually going to rotate this up to the top. So I actually did do a 202 at the top, which I wanted to do before. So I am going to put that there. Okay, so I've just dragged a little, similar to what we did earlier. I've just clicked and dragged. Let me just do that again. I've clicked this little line over here, dragged it towards the outside, and you can see how it's snapped to the outside of that circular element that we've got. I'm going to hit R or select your rotate tool over here. Hold down Shift and just drag it all the way up to the top over there. I am going to double select that. So click, click, and click, click, click. And actually, if I click it 3 times, and I'm going to type in 202. Okay, I'm going to select this graphic over here. I want to cut a little section over there. So, yep, the easiest way to do that, just get C and just cut it over here. Make sure that you're actually selecting your circle line, which is this line here. So make sure that's selected when you cut it. Don't cut your text line like I just did. I'm going to cut it over here, and I'm going to cut it over here. Okay, select that a little bit. Just delete it. Just bring that in a little bit there. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So we've done it. This is just repeating what we've done earlier. Just get that font size up a little bit. Okay, where's my tracking? Just close this window down here. Get this tracking window, which is this guy up here. Nope, this is my tracking here, sorry. And I'm just gonna make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, that looks cool. Just bring that. I'm just gonna bring that out a little bit. I can't go too far with it. Man, that's just a little bit too long. I'm gonna have to cut that line a bit. Cut it there. Now that is cool. Now, if you wanted to actually go and see the stamp effect that we've created there with this aged funny look over there, if we wanted to go and age all this section over here and even age some of this section over here, there is another tutorial that I've done, which I'll leave a link either up in the top window up there, or I'll leave it in the description, and you can go have a look at that when that video tutorial on how to actually create that stamp effect. But that looks pretty cool. And don't forget, when you finish your design and you're happy with it, you can either just quickly make a copy of it if you want to save all your fonts or anything. So I basically just drag my selection over the whole thing, hold on Alt, click and drag, put that off to the side, and make sure you convert everything here to outlines. Okay, so that was that Command Shift and O, and that converts everything to outlines. You also want to make sure that you haven't got any strokes. So this is still a stroke here. You would want to expand those. Okay, so if I drag a marquee over everything there, I'm going to go up here to Object, and I'm going to go Expand Appearance, and you can see it's taken away that little center line over there, that stroke line, and it's given it an entire like fill over there. Now, if we were to hand this file over to somebody, I would definitely go in, and if you wanted this just to be your single color, I would definitely go in and select all my little elements like this. Okay, unite them together. So just go here, unite, expand, and then select this element over here and just punch it through our little ribbon there. So hold on that Alt while doing all this. Remember I told you earlier, and click expand. Now if I just click everything here, you can see it's all one color. So that's all representing black there. There's no little question mark or anything. So I had to even say pink or red or anything like that. Everything changes at the same time. It's all just like one color, and that's exactly what we're looking for. I mean, how cool does that look? Just change it back to black. That looks so cool. Even if I had to make that and just put it on a black background, simply select it, make it white. Oh man, that looks so cool. And that about brings us almost to the end of another episode. I feel like I'm losing my voice because I haven't done this in quite a while, and that's a lot of talking. So with this design like this, so we've taken it basically from this drawing over here, so we've taken that little sketch over there and we've turned it into this design here. So that would look great on like a screen print or something quite big, even if you're doing some sort of a poster or something quite big that you can actually read it. I wouldn't put that on any sort of embroidery or even like a patch, because some of that detail is way too small to even expect that to even work. So this is more focused on a bigger than life sort of design. Anyway, so with all that said, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. I always like to hear what you guys are saying, if it's constructive, because I've had a few ones and so with all that, keep on creating, and I'll catch you on the next one.